Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I just want to discuss Michael Shannon's comments about returning as Zod in The Flash. So when he was offered the role, the chance to come back and reprise the role, he said, "I was a little confused. I said, as memory serves me, I think I died in Man of Steel. Are they sure they got the right guy?" But then they explained to me the whole multiverse phenomenon, which I was a little behind the times on that. I can't say that I'm a huge consumer of this genre of films. Not that I have anything against them. If I'm going to watch a movie, odds are it's not going to be one of those, but I sure love making them. He also kind of got into how much of a role he actually plays in the movie overall. He said, "I tried to get back into his skin. He's a little different in this film. He's a little more, I don't know how to put it. You don't spend as much time with him, so you don't really get to know as much about what he's thinking. It's not necessarily his movie." That's the thing with these multiverse movies. You get a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but it's really Ezra's movie. That makes sense because he's not supposed to be the main villain in the film or the main antagonist, like he was in Man of Steel, but he's coming back in this multiverse concept as, Flash went back in time, he changed things, now an event that happened previously is playing out differently than it did in Man of Steel. So it makes sense that we don't get as much backstory for Zod. You're not, like he said, you're not spending as much time with him. You're not really getting into his motive as much or his point of view. He also was talking about making Man of Steel. He said, "I loved making Man of Steel and I love working with director Zack Snyder, and I felt like it was actually, in a way, a fairly important film. It was nice to revisit the character. I wasn't there for a terribly long time. I was in and out in a couple of weeks, so it was a nice way to spend a little bit of my summer in England. Andy's a lovely guy and a great artist visually, and I had a blast." I do think it's definitely going to be very interesting to see him and Feora back again in a different, like the same event, but playing out differently. Obviously that's kind of the Flashpoint element of the Flash movie, and there are some other things that are Flashpoint inspired, right? But I honestly, like I said, when the rumor came out a long time ago about Zod being in the movie, I just didn't understand how that would make sense for the Flash movie. But that was, we didn't really know anything about the Flash movie at that time, except that he's supposed to go back in time, try to save his mom, kind of the core of what the Flashpoint story is. And, this movie got pushed back so many times and for so long. And there's just been nonstop speculation and rumor and talk about the movie. And so, I honestly, for a long time, didn't think that we were actually going to see Zod or Feora. I just didn't think it made sense unless it was like there's some kind of Easter egg or flashback to something. And I was like, but what would Man of Steel have to do with, I just couldn't make the connection. And seeing them in the trailer, it is pretty crazy to see them return and to see like the scenes from Man of Steel that we're all familiar with. The events are happening differently. And I think it's going to be interesting to see, Supergirl interact with them, and we get a little bit of that in the trailer. Even though they're not going to be in the movie a whole lot, it is still going to be pretty cool to see them on screen again. And I think Zod is a lot of, Snyder fans' favorite villain. It's kind of two different reactions to having events from Man of Steel in the Flash movie. On one side, it's like people are like, "Oh, this is really cool. We get to see them again," and Zod and Feora are awesome. And on the other side, it's kind of like unfair. People are saying it's unfair that, WB, well, this is previous regime, right? They kind of are using Zack's movies that they were not openly supportive about in a way they're kind of using them in this movie. And then at the same time, kind of erasing Zack's universe, in a way. So I kind of see both sides. Like, I understand that Zod and Feora were awesome, and it's going to be kind of crazy to see events from Man of Steel happening in a different way on screen again. And then at the same time, it's kind of, it's like, why are you using Zach's stuff to erase his universe? You know what I mean? Like, I kind of see both sides of it. I wouldn't really say that Andy Muschietti was like trying to do anything maliciously. I'm sure Zach is flattered that, you know, he chose to use, or maybe was inspired by Man of Steel and Zod and the things that happened in that movie. You know, maybe, I don't really take it negatively in that way from like the director's point of view, but I can see, like, because of the history with the studio and their whole intention of the Flash movie in general, like, you know, not having Henry Cavill, having Zod supposedly kill him as a child or a baby, and, like, you know, he never makes it to Earth like he does in Man of Steel. Hearing about all of that such a long time ago, and then, you know, hearing that they wanted to erase or kind of get rid of Ben Affleck's Batman and Henry Cavill's Superman and all of that with the Flash movie, I can understand how people are, like, it's kind of rubbing them the wrong way that they chose to use Man of Steel to do that. So I can see both sides of it. But nevertheless, I do think it's going to be interesting to see how everything unfolds in the Flash movie, and especially after so many years of waiting to see the movie. But I just wanted to go ahead and share that, and I also posted a short which is kind of giving a little bit of a better explanation, some clarification I received about Wonder Woman's cameo in Shazam! Fury of the Gods. So I posted a short talking about that because I brought it up in my previous video, and I kind of got a better understanding of it, a rumor. So I posted a short if you want to get some kind of a better understanding of the rumor that's going around about a fake Wonder Woman cameo in Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I had a misunderstanding about it before when I talked about it. So I posted a short to kind of clarify that. If you're interested, it should be in the short section on the channel. But in the meantime, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe.